Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jayanti, working as an assistant professor in the Department of English and Foreign Languages at RBVRR Women's College. In today's session, I'm going to discuss on how to improve vocabulary, easy ways to learn new words. One of the aims of teaching English in India is to enable students use English language as a library language. And it is a well-known saying that language is a garment of thought, woven by imagination of metaphors and similes. A good vocabulary is the single best predictor for career success. Many students show great desire and dream to speak so fluently in English language. If they dream, will it happen? Definitely not. They should master the language. How will they be able to master the language? Only once when they improve the vocabulary. Vocabulary means learning new words. When they learn new words, definitely they'll be able to use language as they desire or dream for. In order to have that ability to read with accurate speed and comprehension and to make notes with the material that they read in their daily lives, a student or a learner needs to have a large vocabulary. And here, a student can choose and limit her vocabulary to 2500 or 3000 words for speaking as well as writing purpose. But when she has to read, she is likely to come across many unknown words, unfamiliar words, which are other than those that she has acquired. So here, English is a library language, a rich language. And Robert Lado, he suggested that a minimum of 7,000 words is required for reading purposes. As I have already said that English is a rich language, and the number of words in Oxford Dictionary, if we observe keenly, they run into million or trillion. It is neither possible nor necessary to master all the words that we come across in either Oxford Dictionary or Macmillan Dictionary or Webster's Dictionary. But then, if you are to select words for speaking and writing, there is some criterion for selection of vocabulary. The selection is made on the basis of the principles of certain elements. What are those elements? In the next slide, we are going to look at. So here we have the criteria for selection of vocabulary. The first one stands for frequency of use. There are many words which occurs more frequently in speech and writing than others. These words are also said to be famous words, popular words. Frequently they are in use. So, a number of frequency lists have been made and should be made by the learner. And the second one that we should observe is usefulness. So, once the frequency list is made, then the student will decide how useful the word is to him or her, and it should suit his or her needs and their mental ability. Suppose if the student is pursuing engineering or medicine or commerce or into any other area, then they have to be very careful in choosing that jargon of words, whether it is useful for academics or business or some other purpose. And the third one is productivity of the words. So the words that are selected or chosen by students must be productive. They shouldn't be passive. They should be active. It means there must be a scope for building many words from a single word using prefixes and suffixes where I'm going to discuss in the next slides. When we do not know many words, what happens? Suppose when we ask a student, how did you write the exam? Certainly she would reply, good. Again, if we ask a student, how is your friend's dress? She says, good. And another question, how is the food prepared by your mother? She says, good. Why does she have to use all the time the same word good, good, good? Because here she lacks good amount of vocabulary. Suppose if she has good amount of vocabulary, she wouldn't have used the same word as good in a very stereotype manner. Okay, so here one should be watchful and careful in learning the words and deciding whether those words are productive or unproductive. And next, we are going to look at universality of the words. So here, universality means globe. Okay, so here on the global platform, if we observe, the word should be useful anywhere and everywhere across the globe. These words are not limited to any geographical area or cultural background. The next step for selection of vocabulary is regional value of words. IO is a word frequently used by many speakers. It's an expression even included in Oxford Dictionary. So there are some words which are needed only in certain regions and do not find any use in others. Such words also need to be learnt for its regional value. And the last one, that is simplicity. Simplicity here, the words that are simple in meaning and use are always learnt before the more difficult ones. Here I would like to give an example. And the example is that Shashi Tharoor, great writer and also politician, he says at an instance as, may your festive season be punctuated with revatism whose magniloquence can only be theatrically analyzed by the use of reminiscent exacerbation. I hope you do not mind my apostasy. I know your acoustic impedance might not engulf this kind of debauched pedagogy because of its repugnacious Tolcentrism. The meaning of this elaborate sentence is that he wished Christmas and Happy New Year to people. So, words that we use should be simple and should be able to communicate to the other person in a clear manner. Otherwise, the vocabulary that we employ is of no use. So in this slide, one of the ways to expand our vocabulary is shown, that is using synonyms and antonyms. Let us look at the meaning of synonym. The meaning of synonym means a word having the same or nearly the same meaning as another word. We have already discussed that the words in English language, they run into million or billion. One word has several meanings and those several meanings are used at several contexts. So here you have baffle, the word means confused, perplexed, deceive, etc. In the same manner, if we observe, candid means straightforward, honest, truthful. And what is an opposite to synonym? Antonym. So antonym means a word which has opposite meaning to another word, like left, right, first, last, strong, weak, confident, diffident. So synonyms and antonyms. So synonym here means words which have similar meanings, and antonym means words that give opposite meaning. So we have these list of synonyms and antonyms that are presented in a table form. The word forbid synonyms is prohibit, ban, bar, and the antonyms are lead, precede. Let us quickly look at the remaining words. Forgive. Synonyms are pardon, excuse, absolve. The antonym is encourage. Former. Synonyms previous, earlier. The antonym later. Fraction. Synonyms are part, portion, segment. And the antonym for it is whole. Frank. Synonyms candid, straightforward, blunt. And the antonym is evasive. Frenzy. Synonyms are fury, rage. Antonyms serenity, calmness. Likewise, we have synonyms and antonyms for each word. Let us look at the next slide, where improving vocabulary also happens, and as happens randomly, it is a continuous process. We add to our stock of words, perhaps all our life. The vocabulary acquired in the early stages of learning are usually graded and controlled. And during the later years of learning, the learning comes across many words. Like we have discussed, productiveness, regional words, universal words, and passive words, stronger words. Casually, some of the words are learned, and deliberately, some of the words are learned. There are certain ways in which vocabulary can be expanded. What are those ways? Like using word categories, the groups. Stationery. When we have an image in our mind of the stationery, what do we think of? Pen, paper, pencil, eraser, scales, pouches, etc. Lot many. And cosmetics in the similar manner. Girls especially do know n number of things that are associated with cosmetics. Powder, lipstick, eyeliner, perfume, stickers, rubber bands, likewise. So, all these, when we hear the word of one, utensils, all the words are associated with utensils. Spatula, plates, cups, saucers, balls, etc. And the other category of learning words is related words. These can be introduced under a particular category. Like when I say a word of doctor, hospital, medicine, and operation theater, and instruments, nurse, diagnostics tests, all these are of belonging to one particular category. Like meals, the words that are included under meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, dessert, creams, salads, snacks, biscuits, etc. So they all fall under a particular category. And next ways to enrich one's vocabulary is learning homophones, homographs, and homonyms. Here homo stands one, but phone, graph, nym, there the difference is. So now we have to observe the sound, spelling and the meaning, whether they are same or different. It shows like homophone. Phone means sound, the same sound, but the spelling is different and the meaning is different. Like a vendor screams loudly. Why? To sell vegetables. Where is my cell? So here the same sound, one is SELL cell, the other one is CELL cell. The meaning is different and the spelling is different. So words that fall under this category, they are called as homophones. And the next is homograph. Sound is different, spelling is same, and meaning is also different. As Sarala is writing an exam, it's almost time to give her answer script to the invigilator. But Sarala requests the invigilator to give her a minute time. And the invigilator says, sure, but before the long bell rings. And Sarala, take care of all the minute things in what you have written. So minute and minute. Spelling is the same, but the sound is different and the meaning is different. All those words are called as homograph. Another example that come under homograph. When we receive a letter that is of no use, we tear it into pieces and throw it into the dustbin. Suppose Ramya scored less marks. She sheds tears. One meaning of tear is cutting into. The other meaning of tears is crying. So those are called homographs. The next kind of is homonym. Same sound, same spelling, but the meaning is different. Isn't it amusing to learn words? What are those? Key. Suppose Madhu's mother is searching for key to open the cupboard. So you all know the meaning of key there. And next, you have to save the presentation. You don't know which key to press. Here I'm referring to the keyboard. One more example we will discuss here. Rose. On Teacher's Day, Anita gives a rose to her favorite teacher. When principal entered into the classroom, students rose to their feet. So these words are called as homonyms. Let us quickly look at the next slide. Now, another way of learning or expanding your vocabulary is through root words, that are prefixes and suffixes. First and foremost, the learner should know what is a root word. A root is a simple form of a word or a part of a word without any prefix or suffix. So here, a prefix. A prefix is a letter or a group of letters that appears at the beginning of a word and changes the word's original meaning when we add a prefix to the root word. So prefixes are on the left side to the root word and suffixes are letters or group of letters usually added on to the right side of the root words and usually added on to the end of words to change the way a word fits into a sentence grammatically. So collectively, prefixes and suffixes are known as affixes. So nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs all tend to use different suffixes. So this makes it a little easier to remember. Suppose if I take a word, electro. Electro is from Greek and the meaning of electro is amber. And the examples like electricity we have, electromagnet we have. And the anti on the slide it is shown clearly. The meaning of anti is before. Examples like anteroom, antedate. And here look at the spelling carefully. The first one is A-N-T-E, anti. And the second spelling A-N-T-I, anti, means against, opposing. Like the example, antibiotic. Yeah, doctor prescribes to the patient antibiotics to recover from his or her illness. Likewise, we also have antidepressants and antidote. And next, dis, the prefix dis. The meaning of dis is opposite, like agree, disagree, disappear, disintegrate, disapprove. In the next slide, we will discuss on suffixes. Suffixes create variety in the English language to provide endless ways to express our thoughts, feelings. They are uncountable and findings and emotions. We human beings, we have certain emotions to exhibit, feelings to express, thoughts to share with. So we have variety of words to express. That is possible with the usage of suffixes. Suffixes, something adding to the base word, changes the spelling of the word and you get a new word. That's how one improves vocabulary. Like the suffix able. Prevent is the word. Able be preventable. Ly, brave. Add to the right side of the root word bravely. Ed is the suffix. Laugh is the main root word. When we add ed, laughed. Able, laughable. Ing, laughing. Happy is the root word. Ily is the suffix. Happily. Suppose if we add un, unhappy, un is again prefix. Next, it is possible certainly to improve vocabulary by knowing into the depth of idioms and phrasal verbs. So idioms and phrasal verbs. So in this slide, we have some examples of idioms as well as phrasal verbs too. So now we should know what do we mean by an idiom. An idiom is a group of words in a fixed order and the meaning of these idioms cannot be arrived at by putting together the meaning of each individual word. If you try to, or if we try to know the meaning of splitting each word, then certainly we get a different meaning that never matches to the idiom. Like one example, crocodile tears. So here crocodile tears, it seems to be so natural and one assumes that the crocodile is crying. Maybe the crocodile did not get food on that day. No. The meaning of crocodile tears, which is an idiom, means insincere tears, means expressing insincere sadness. Okay, like under the weather, break a leg, go on, come across a piece of cake. All these are idioms. And the phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs here they are the combination of a verb and a particle. Together we get a single independent unit of meaning. Suppose, for example, the wedding was put off until May. Here, put off. Put off means postponed. The similar manner, we use lot many phrasal verbs and idioms in our daily English language. They beautify the language. They give a special attraction to the language. They decorate the language. Especially the native speakers, they use lot many idioms and these will make the speaker more competent, more successful in any walk of their life. We use lot many phrasal verbs in our daily speech, but often we reckon whether is it a phrasal verb or something else. When someone calls for an employer, if he or she is not available, we inform them, please hold on, which means wait. Now, quickly look at the next slide. Some important techniques to improve vocabulary. There are a lot many techniques in every realm, but here students who show zeal, enthusiasm, and they have that quest or thirst to improve their vocabulary by the end of their day, what do they have to do? What are the techniques that they have to follow, imbibe, inculcate, and implement? One is learn a word each day. Learn a word each day. If you permit again only to the phase of learning, then definitely we can never or ever improve our vocabulary. What are we supposed to do after that? We should use those words in our conversation, discourse. Nothing is impossible. No impediments, no blocks one should have while learning. Whether you are from Telugu medium or some other medium, no. All the time we long for the best in our life. We want to have the best phone, the best college, the best friend, the best accessories. So don't we dream for the best language that we use? Yes, we should aim for the best in our life. Thereby, what should we use? What should we do? Use the best vocabulary, then definitely you'll be able to create your own identity. So learn a word and use new words. How we use new mobile phone, new laptop, new gadgets. So the language too, old-fashioned word, replace it with a new word to give a new look, to enter into new domain, new field, new life and make your life a new life. Read regularly and from variety of sources. Reading is the best habit where we can improve our vocabulary. Don't restrict yourself to either newspaper like that. Any piece of written text you can read, whether it is a newspaper or a magazine, storybooks, novels, academic textbooks, lot many. Where there is a will, there is definitely a way. E-library we have, log in, enlist, and read journals, articles, and books give us knowledge. Knowledge will make one confident. With confidence, you can take over the world and play word games, Sudoku, word games of vocabulary, test your vocabulary, than installing games and wasting your time. Play word games. They are the food to your brain. If you play games, what happens? Your brain drains. No, play word games. That's one of the best techniques to improve your vocabulary. And otherwise, what happens? We cannot improve our vocabulary. Vocabulary opens our mind. Don't settle once when you learn new words. Use them as much as you can. And use. If you do not use or lose. It's a great loss if you do not use. So you decide, the ball is in your court. Remember this, use or lose. Leverage every resource you can. Plenty of vocabulary applications are available. By taking a note of all these, definitely one can become a successful person. It might sound very simple, but actions are important. 4 P's are important. Students, I advise you, plan, prepare, practice, and perform. In the present days, to face cutthroat competition, to create your own identity, excel in every realm, and make use of the best vocabulary to have your own identity. And I wish you all the good luck.